Welcome to Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. My name is Scott Wise, and our special guest is Eric Wood. Embark on a journey with Eric Wood along the Paranormal Highway, delving into enigmas of the unknown. Accompany Eric as he investigates evidence related to Bigfoot, UFOs, and various other paranormal occurrences while also gaining insights into the Mandela Effect. Participate in exploration to unveil the truth and expand your understanding. If you have interest in unexplained phenomena such as Bigfoot, UFOs, and the Mandela Effect, consider joining Eric Wood on the new Paranormal Unite Channel. Through Eric's extensive research and investigations, you have the opportunity to discover the truth behind these enigmatic events. How every contemplate the enigmas of the unknown. The company Eric Wood on Paranormal Highway 8000 topics such as Bigfoot, UFOs, and paranormal and Mandela Effect. With this opportunity, become part of the Paranormal Unite today. So without further ado, welcome Eric to the show. Yeah, I couldn't find that paranormal night I was looking for.
Um, I probably got a lot of explaining to do in so many ways, and you, give me a little fast chance. Let me explain on why certain people might maybe not able to find my Paranormal Highway channel. You know what's kind of going on, and so I'll just say real quick because I know a lot of people that's in your chat right now knows me, and they're probably wondering what's happening to Eric. Did he get abducted by UFOs? Is he got taken by Bigfoot or the paranormal? Because I've been absent from social media for really over 3 months. You invited me a long time ago, so this is like the first show that I have done in over 2-3 months. So not to get everybody bored, to real life happens, right? Real life. We all know things happen in real life. So this is why I haven't been on. And my channel was kind of given to my brother. He kind of took over the channel. And what happened was a lot of people know that I was injured a year ago. I had a leg injury. I'm not gonna, get the whole thing, but the state of Washington, right? The insurance company, of the state of Washington, they were trying to not cover any future surgeries because they made a claim that YouTube is called a social media influencer. So they wanted to stop everything, saying that this is a job. Believe it or not, they were trying to consider YouTube as being a job, and it wasn't. I don't make money off YouTube. I don't. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know either.
you know what I mean? If there is a donation, it's very minor. But they were using any bits and pieces. So if I would have went on continuing on my own channel right now until that thing is resolved, the surgery I'm supposed to get next year, they're trying to get rid of it. I mean, it's it's crazy. It's a crazy world. It's like
Yeah.
it's hard to swallow. It's like a social media influencer, and you know the people who I work with, the group I work with, and they're like people have Facebook accounts. People have Instagram accounts. Does that technically consider a social media influencer putting pictures on there and all that? But that's how crazy that you have to be careful because insurance companies will do whatever it takes to get you off. Whatever. Whatever. Now, I'm not taking off because they're smart enough to realize that I you know, listen, do I wish I was a social media influencer that had millions of subscribers? Of course, but I'm not. So because of that, I couldn't really do live on my own channel. Like coming on your channel is different. I'm invited, you know, it's you own your channel, but that's the main reason why my uh Paranormal Highway channel is not there at the moment. I did create another channel called Paranormal Unite, and it's YouTube Paranormal Unite. I don't have any videos on it at the moment, but starting a couple weeks, I'm going to be putting some videos on there, and I'm going to be I'm going to be coming back to do some live shows, but it's going to be on my Paranormal Unite channel. So that's
So
why you try to find my channel. It's like blank. That's why it's been changed over to my brother. And technically, when the time is right, my brother has always owned the channel, but I used it in the past. I'll be going back to that channel, but just the side things has to clear up first. So that's just the fast thing. Just want everybody to know that I didn't die. I don't have
so
cancer. Hopefully, I don't have cancer.
uh, I heard a lot of my friends or other paranormal podcasters have had their YouTube channels taken down for stupid reasons.
Well, it's
I actually had me one time. I was freaking out because I had like 3 years my podcast on it, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. I don't know what to do. So
I know.
I started to create another channel just in case, but I got to a week at it
Now,
back.
now I do have a heavy metal channel, a music channel. 'Cause I love music, heavy metal revolution channel that's still up. But I put out shorts every day, so I'm not talking live on it yet. But that's why people are like, well, Eric, you have your hair metal channel. Yeah, but that was never monetized. It was never. It was just I just put up. I did some live shows on it, but every single day there's a new short on there. But I will be going back to do some live stuff. But since I'm here, since I'm on here, this is a paranormal channel. This is not a real life channel about man against insurance companies, because we all know insurance companies are evil. They just wanna find any reason to not help you. I mean, it's funny, right? We all pay $200-300 a month and all this stuff in it, and when you need them, they're not there to help you. But talking about Bigfoot and paranormal and UFOs, for myself, I think my brother, Dr. Wu, I think he's in the chat too.
He's there, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in the chat too. There was never once in our life that we never not believed. We've always believed that UFOs and ghosts, and we always believed there's something out there we can't explain. That was never it was never like a moment in life like something changed your views on it. We've always believed in it. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, well, I went to a haunted house and something happened and then I became a believer. We were always believe there's things out there in life that we can't explain, because there is.
Right.
For example, one of the youngest event that ever happened to us, a lot of my people who are in the chat, they kind of know this story. So I'm sorry if they gotta kind of hear it again. Our famous ones, not famous, but our Bigfoot encounter that we had like when I was a kid and stuff. Now, first of all, when I was a kid, before we even had our Bigfoot encounter, we never not believed that Bigfoot wasn't real, because our family has always the Wood family, and I always say the Ragsdale family, because our Wood family and Ragsdale family, we're related, and we always go camping every year. We lived poor. We literally lived. My brother and I, we literally lived in an apartment complex that was designed for illegal aliens that came over from Mexico to California. My mom left. I was a baby, so we always lived. We live in the gutters of Kerman. Anybody knows Fresno, Kerman? We live in the gutter. So our fun time, our Disneyland, has always been the mountains, hunting. Always been in the mountains. So going in the mountains, we've always been taught to respect nature, respect your surroundings, respect the animals. And Bigfoot was brought up just like a lion, tiger, you know what I mean? Deer, buck. And there was no internet as a kid. The only thing you ever had was a library. So I'll admit that even though I was a kid, I never knew technically that Bigfoot was considered a myth, because it was always taught to us that these creatures and all that are all real. And to this day, to me, they are real. So there's never been a doubt. But I never even knew it was considered a myth until after our event and when I told some people about it at school. So what happened was I was a child, I was a really young kid. Um, we were camping one time in the Sierra Mountains. Above Sierra Mountains is basically anybody look at the California map of Fresno, California is in the middle. We have family up in Oakers, up in the mountains. Bass Lake is up there. Anybody wants to know what Bass Lake looked like, just go watch the sequel to Meatballs. Meatballs Part 2 with Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
They did that. They actually filmed that in Bass Lake. That's my area. I know it's kind of funny. Not the original Meatballs, the second one with Corey Feldman. Or maybe he was the third one. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but so we always go in the mountains, and we always had a system of like how we go hunting in the hunting. So for example, like there was grown-ups and a lot of us kids. I mean, there's a lot of us, our cousins. I mean, it was like a family reunion when we go hunting. All our family is there. So when we go hunting, uh there's hunting in the morning and there's hunting we do it in the evening, right before it gets dark. So usually in the mid evening, we have half a team that goes on foot and the other half driving vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if the older people driving vehicles because they can't walk that good no more, and like my brother and his friend,
Like me.
yeah. So my brother and them, they go on foot. Now I was a little bit younger than them, so me and my cousin Kenny had to like ride in the car with them. We were still a little bit younger to do that amount of walking. So the idea is like we have these. It's called poison meadow. So we have like this big meadow. So the idea is they're gonna go on foot, go up the meadows, and we're gonna drive, and eventually at a certain time we're gonna like go up and kind of like meet up. And the idea is also like if they can scare maybe the animals to go this way, we're
Mm.
gonna be here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's for hunters, it's scientifically.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's it. Yeah.
we
Just
had it
draw,
down.
draw it to them. That's all right.
Yeah, so we had it down to the max, and there's this place where we meet up. It's like these three gigantic rocks. We always call it like three rocks.
Hmm.
Three rocks, right? Simple, right? Three rocks, three rocks, and we will meet up. Right before it gets super dark, and we like, did we see anything? Did we hear? Is there any more investigation we need to do real quick before the sun just goes all the way out? So one day, we met up, my brother and them. Now, they said they heard some things, but when you're in the woods, you hear a lot of things. You can't necessarily say, "Hey, we heard some deer, we heard some bear, squirrels climbing up trees, dropping
Mm.
stuff." So you hear a bunch of noises, but they said they heard a little bit more noises than usual. But nobody thought anything like different. So we ate our food, and after the feedback, we all decided to. What does he say? We had to rub our naked bodies with camp ashes and crawl up the Kyle's blades were blades side down. That's my brother.
That-
So 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 we all met up, and we all jump in the vehicles. So now we're gonna drive back to the camp, and it's like, 5-6 miles, but it'll seem like forever because you're not driving 40-60 miles per hour. You're driving 5-10 miles per hour, because even though we're all back in the vehicles, you're still hunting.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
you're playing in that gray area where you're not allowed to hunt at dark, but you know what? We play in that gray area. So any chance
Yeah.
you get, you're gonna get. So we're driving down. Um, like I said, nothing really super unusual. But then the first thing we heard, you heard like crackling, like out there, and people are looking. is the crackling a bear? Is it a deer? Now it's not beer season, so even if it was a bear, we weren't gonna hunt it. In theory, no, maybe behind the back, who knows? But for having a license, no bears. So you hear it, but then my Uncle Johnny, I mean, his words was I always gonna remember him yelling this out. He goes, if you don't mind me cussing, he goes, "What the fuck is that?" I mean, he pointed, it was loud. I mean, it was loud. So we looked over and there it was. I was a kid. I can't tell you exactly like how tall. I can't say 7'8", 7'4", 6'5", but it was a tall thing. And my brother would tell you, it was no bear. I mean, when you've been in the mountains, you know what a bear looks like. Even if a bear is technically supposed to be messed up in a way and all that, there's no doubt about it. And this thing made like when it screamed, like when he saw us, we saw it. It was like a deer in headlights. It didn't move at first. It didn't move. It was just like looking, and it wasn't that far because here's the road, dirt. And it was right there in the woods, It wasn't like a big dirt road, it's a single car type of road. And it was like right there. Behind it was the meadows. So it makes sense why it was there, because the meadows is where the water is, a lot of food source is for it. And then it made like a high pitch. Think of a high pitch woman's voice, but through a distortion speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like a distortion, just like it screamed. And then if people want to call it dumb or not, almost every single young person jumped out of the car. Nope, Bob was there, my brother. They were scared. Nobody was scared. And then my brother and all them, they start chasing it. And I grabbed like a fork. That's how I had it right there. I was behind, and they were chasing it. They went down the woods. I mean, and I still remember going through the woods, and you hear the crackling, and you hear this thing like running, and it stayed on 2 feet. Now, if it was a bear, I'm telling people, if it was a bear, it would have went on its 4 feet. And it would have ran. It's not going to stay on its 2 feet. Now there are stories
maybe it's a cocaine bear.
Yeah, there are stories they say that some bears actually have ran on 2 feet. But again, with the sound this thing made, that wasn't a bear.
But usually they don't run that far on 2 legs.
Yep. And then they're chasing it, and then all of a sudden, like all the noise around you, like the bird noise, the woods, the noise you hear in the woods that's from insects and animals or whatever. It went silent. The bear went silent, and and it ran faster because Eric looked hungry and it had a fart. But it was weird. It was
ready to fork him up.
Well, I was a kid. I said I was just a little kid. And then, but all the noise, it felt like it was sucked out. It was silence. The thing was just gone. I mean, now, how did this big thing just disappear? There's many theories. Some people say there's portals, or some people say, this. To me, I just think that that Bigfoot is like, if you're in the military, say you're in special forces, you're Green Beret and stuff, how to camouflage within your environment. You could disappear in an instant. You wouldn't even know that there's a whole army out there, right? Now you're talking about an army of people who are trained to try to learn that, especially in new areas. In the Bigfoot, they live there all their life. They're the most expert Green Beret that's out there. So my opinion of it, why we didn't see it no more, because it just knew how to disappear. It's its own. He's in their own environment. But can we explain why everything went silence. No, I mean insects. Everything is silent. Now you're chasing a deer or a bear. Nothing ever goes silence.
All right.
But for whatever reason, it was like this thing did make things go silence. Is it because they are truly the king of the mountain? I mean, who knows? Who
I,
knows?
I,
Now,
I actually had I'll play it for you later, but I actually had a recording from the New York investigation that I got out to play for you that I have it here. In the woods, this sounds like a bunch of, it actually sounds like a Bigfoot orgy. You have to listen to it and then I'll play for it later when you're done talking then. Because it's pretty intense.
now we did have one person in a vehicle that said he saw a buck. His name was Buck Martin. Bob knows the famous Buck Martin, who basically in life got taken out by a mafia group. I don't know why I'm laughing about that. That's never a good thing. But he said he saw like a light in the sky, but that could be that could be anything. Of course, then later on you hear stories about some people who have had Bigfoot sightings and they've also seen lights in the sky. Is there a relation? I mean, you're never going to know, you know. And again, and a lot of people ask, well, why would you guys like run after it? I mean, why weren't like people scared? And I think the good answer for that is because we were taught that Bigfoot was just part of nature, right? I mean, we weren't taught like it was fake. We didn't know people thought it was fake. When a deer start running, you chase it. I mean, you do, and even bears. Now, the reason I say people could chase bears because we're hunters. Everybody has weapons, so it's not like they don't have nothing in their hands. Now it'd be stupid of me to chase something with a fork, like a bear. But and I remember days later in school, talk about, yeah, we finally got to sell Bigfoot. And they're like, Bigfoot doesn't exist. And I'm like, what do you mean Bigfoot doesn't exist? And that's where like I learned that people, Bigfoot is a myth. And people are like, well, how could you believe it? Well, first of all, how, and like, well, that's easy. First of all, how can everybody believe at one time that Santa Claus was real? Because you're told that was real, you know? So, but even to this day, we never had another like Bigfoot encounter like that, but have we heard noises and stuff? Yeah. And now, if I had to have an educated guess on why that Bigfoot let himself be seen by us, I think it's because it knew us because we camped at the same spot, Poison Meadows, for years. Same year, and we always left like an RV van there because some of our family members are older that they won't sleep in a tent. They got to have an RV. So when we had, we always have an RV. So and thing is, nobody camps by us. We had our own spot. It was during the 80s, 70s and 80s when people respected people's camp spots. Not not
I don't know. Yeah.
90s where people don't give a shit. They'll just see a camp spot, they'll just take it. There's no more respect like that for hunters. So like if my brother and them go back, he lives in California right now. They still go hunting every year, but it's almost hard and impossible to get that same spot because you have to get there like months before hunting season and leave like an RV there and trust that your RV don't get broken into. Back in those days, nothing got broken into. Hunters had a respect factor that it's just not there today.
Right.
So yeah.
Hey, you may can I get your professional opinion on something? I'm gonna play this audio for you, and maybe you guys can listen to it and see what you think.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna play an audio, okay?
Yeah, see if you guys think, because every time I hear it, I get goosebumps. No, I don't hear it somewhere. Actually, I think it is. Oh, it's actually a video that has audio. So
Yeah. It's
it goes on like for 3 days straight.
man, that kind of sound makes me sleep at night easily. I love hearing that kind of sound at night.
Yeah, well, first off, I'll tell you real quick. We can actually, I just want to. It's actually. Do you know where the Hinsdale House is?
The what? I'm sorry.
Do you ever hear of Hinsdale House?
Okay.
We were there for a whole weekend. It's up in New York, and the house is up about 2 miles up the road. And we called down and recorded it on the porch.
What part of New York that was in?
Hinsdale.
Hinsdale. Is that anywhere near Cortland, New York, by any chance? Syracuse area?
I'm not sure. I got there a couple times for that investigation.
I have family that lives in technically McGraw, New York. That's right next to Cortland, New York. So every other year I actually go to upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of sightings from people that I know up there of not just Bigfoot, UFOs, and stuff like that. And it makes sense. It's an oldest part of the country, right? I mean, there's a lot of deaths that's up on the East Coast.
Right.
That. So, man, it feels like old days for me, man. I'm seeing all these awesome people in your chat. Dina P, Dana B, Robert, Danny. I mean, all these awesome people. That's so cool. JoJo. So it's so good. And here's I'll tell you another story. I don't know if you ever watched my channel in the past when I was on there a lot more, when we talked about our weird experience that we had in Gettysburg. I don't know if you ever heard that. So if you haven't heard that, let me tell you this one. Now, again, everything I tell you, take it everything with a grain of salt. I never try to force anybody to believe us, believe what we're saying. I always say it's up to the individual. So I'm just gonna say, what we have experienced that we didn't even know we were experiencing it until after the event. So at the time, I took a job out in Frederick, Maryland. And Frederick, Maryland is about, I don't know, 10 minutes away from Gettysburg. It's like close to the borderline of Pennsylvania. And my brother took a job at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And since I had a job at Frederick, Maryland, he stayed with me because at the time my family was still living in Washington until they're able to move up there. So Bob was staying there, and where we're at now, anybody knows the Maryland area. Washington, D.C. sucks. It's an ugly city. It's still hard to believe that presidents want to clean up the United States when they can't even clean up their own city. I mean, seriously, the city was not fun. And, Bob worked at the Smithsonian, so it's not like he wants to go back on his days off and go there because he sees everything is. In fact, Bob sees things that we weren't even allowed to see because his position, you got to have special clearance. And Bob was in the Navy. Of course, I was in the Coast Guard. And Bob had that special clearance to go to certain places in the Smithsonian that nobody could see. And Baltimore, oh, God, Baltimore. If you live in Baltimore, I apologize. I think it's a very ugly city.
Well, we're tired down there. We call them Baltimoreans because where they drove.
So the only fun place for us is really Gettysburg. Gettysburg is just a freaking awesome. It's a very small town.
I love
It's not
Gettysburg.
big at all. It's just they might have big fields because the battlegrounds, but the town itself is not really small. So it was early in the morning. Bob wanted to he wanted to go to a restaurant at Gettysburg, and the reason is Bob's a smoker. Anybody watches his channel knows he smokes, and at the time, most states in restaurants are banning smokes. But in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, you can still smoke. So we went to get breakfast in Gettysburg just so Bob could smoke in a restaurant. I mean, it's true. That's why we went. So that morning we went to we drove up. It was like a Sunday morning. We drove up to Gettysburg, the restaurant, ate our food. And the best thing about Gettysburg, anybody's been there, people dress up in Civil War outfits like all year round, when they own, they're owners of the stores. So it's a cool, like all year round type of reenactment. Well, we were done eating, right? So we decided to, when we drive back, we always drive through the battlefields. Because if anybody knows Gettysburg, the battlefield, there's so many little roads, there's so many sections. It's always fun driving through the fields, just to see the wooden fence and the post, and just knowing what happened there. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people died there. It's really an amazing type of energy that's there. Because the energy is because what happened there. And so one day we're driving, and to our left, we see all these medical tents up, and we see like medical officers, like soldiers on the ground, missing arms and legs. I mean, blood everywhere, medical doctors. I mean, and there was like a big camp spot in the middle where there's this big fire and they're cooking stuff in a pot. And Bob and I were like, holy shit, dude, there's a reenactment here. Like, this is awesome. We had no idea if there's going to be a reenactment, and it's on a Sunday. A lot of times when you do reenactments in most places, they're all done on Saturday. Because most of the time on Sundays, people go to church, and it's true. A lot of people go to church and all that. But we're like, wow, a reenactment on a Sunday? This is strange. Like, because Bob is Smithsonian, and usually when there's reenactments, they'll hear about it. Because sometimes a lot of reenactments need to borrow some stuff, and the Smithsonian has a lot of stuff that they loan out to areas that are doing reenactments. Bob said he saw no request for any equipment they want to use for this reenactment. So we didn't know. So we pull up. We get out of the car, and the weirdest thing right off the bat, we were like the only car there. The only car pulling up. We're like the only car. And we thought, dude, this is awesome. We're the only ones here right now. Maybe we're thinking it was still early in the morning. So we're like, okay, everybody must still be at church. Because usually church ends 10 a.m., maybe 11 a.m., 10:30. So we're thinking after church, people are going to start coming. Because living out there, people still went to church. Like, massive amount versus in Washington, where people did go, but massive. So we get out, and we were met with this lady in her civil outfit. She came to ask us, like now Bob and I have a little bit different memory on this part. Not the memory of the lady asking us, but what we heard her say. Because I heard her say, "Did you bring bread to the feast?" Now, Bob said he heard potatoes. Now, I know people are like, well, bread, potatoes. Yeah, but when you hear the whole story, that could be in itself something, right? And I remember saying, like, no, like, so we're playing along. We're playing along like, no, we just got off the battlegrounds, and they told us to come over here, like get some food, Oh, welcome, 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 and there's like a fire. There's like people sitting around it, trying to get warm, eating. And Bob and I, before we went to sit down, we went to like they had the booths, like a booth, like weapons, arrows, things from the battlegrounds. To us, we're like, oh, antiques. I wonder, but there was like no price tags on nothing. I guess it's just all show and tell. There's no selling because there's no price tags, no anything. And then there was this big ass pot. They're boiling this big pot by a medical tent, and there was horses. We saw horses, and they went and cut horses hair. We're like, damn, why are they cutting horses hair? And they're boiling in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, so why are you boiling horsehair? Kind of looked as fun, like we didn't know. They go, well, because with all you guys being injured coming here, we ran out of string, so we don't have string to sew people's arms, legs that gets blown up, and when they have hair, they have to boil it to soften it up. And believe it or not, that's where they've actually learned that when they boil material, it helps to kill germs. And everybody who got sewed up with horsehair were having less infections, less issues versus regular string that's all dirty and blood, and so and all that. And I remember like just talking about we're like, fuck, for a reenactment. I mean, they're really cutting horse hair. I'm surprised that the the horse people, whatever, are not complaining. You know what I mean? Like all the, you can't do this to animals. Like they were literally cutting the hair off of them boiling. I just thought, wow, they go all out here. And there's like a special tent for officers. Officers, they get their own special doctors that they get specialty care. We're learning officers need specialty care because we got to get them faster healed back on the field, where soldiers are just like meat, they get all the back stuff, and they get all the doctors you're already tired working on the officers and all that. So after we looked at everything, Bob looked at everything, we went and Bob wrote, Stinch learned it from the captured Southern surgeon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What he means there is when they learned about boiling clean, they actually learned that from the Southern doctors, and technically they were captured. They're captured, but the thing is, when you learn that when doctors get captured when they're on one side, they still work. They're working for the other side. You're still, at the end of the day, you're still trying to heal the individual soldier, because at that time it's not about what side you're on, because most people are fighting for the side that you live on. If you agree with it or not, you're fighting for, you're just being told to fight. So we sat down by the fire, and we're just talking to like these soldiers. And I mean, Bob and I were just talking like, dude, these fucking guys look real. I mean, their outfits and the blood and the cut. I mean, dude, I was like, this is like the best reenactment we've ever been involved, because these people were really, really doing the part. And it was still strange that there was nobody else there, like pulling up in cars. It was just us. And it's almost like we even forgot that we pull up in a car. I don't even remember seeing our car no more until we left. Because you're just wrapped up, and they're handing us like beers. And I remember telling Bob this beer's flat, but they're making it there, so it's not going to be like modern day beer.
Right.
We're not used to what beer is supposed to taste like back then. So we ate food. They fed us, and Bob wrote potatoes, Eric, not bread. See, different things on that. And soldiers is telling us about where they were at on what hill, and we're making shit up in a way, like Yeah, we were over on that hill because we don't know what platoon technically was over one end. So, and Bob, if anybody knows Bob, my brother, he has a gift of speaking. So he knows how to make something sound more real without the actual fax number because we don't know what technically platoon we're just like Bob's like, well, we're over the hill, we're a part of this, where are we doing this? You know, Bob really gets in the story. So it was fun. And it felt like we were there for like I mean, honestly, it felt like we were there for like over 6-8 hours because we had nothing else to do. We were just having a great time. And after all that, and then we decided, well, I guess we'll go. And it was the most incredible time because still nobody else showed up from looking like us, like regular clothes. Now Bob said the kind of clothes we were wearing could easily, because we're grunging it out on a Sunday, so maybe it could have passed. Maybe we don't know how they saw us, like in regular street clothes or what. But I remember we got in the car and and we basically took off, and went home, and back, and like I said, it was just a fantastic time. And Bob went back to work the next day, and I went back to work, and then that night Bob came back. He goes, Eric, I got to tell you something. He goes, I told the people about we were winning a reenactment, and everybody there at Smithsonian said, no, there was no reenactment. What are you talking about? There was nothing there. They didn't have nothing done down there. And we're like, no. I go. They had all these white tents. It wasn't like one tent. I mean, it was like a whole. Like if you ever watched the movie MASH, like all those medical tents, it was like that, but it was like white and all that. And I go, oh, no, there was like over 20 to 50 soldiers, look like they're shot up and down, medical doctors. It wasn't like a group that just went there. Like, no, what do you mean there was no reenactment? We were there and all that. And then we called up, I don't know, the mayor's office or whatever, and say, hey, we're playing it off like, hey, when is that medical reenactment you guys are going to do, or did you guys already have it? You know what I mean? Like try to find out. No, we don't have medical reenactments on our schedules, and we haven't had reenactment done here for like over like a year or something, because they don't do like a lot of reenactments. They said there was like nothing done. Like, no, that's bullshit. Like somebody's fucking with us. So the next day we drove back to Gettysburg, like playing along, went to the restaurant, like Bob's like playing along. Hey man, that fucking reenactment you guys had here last Sunday, that a few days ago, was awesome. Like, what reenactment? There was no reenactment. Everybody in that town on the phones, Bob checked with his company. There was nothing on record that they had a reenactment there. Nothing.
Wow.
At all. And the thing is, I know some people say you were surrounded by ghosts, and the thing is, these things, the problem I've always had with this whole thing about that is these things were too real. A ghost, I mean, I guess you have to be a ghost hunter or study ghosts to know, a ghost doesn't usually at 100% look real, like they're handing you stuff. Most ghosts, they can't really touch you. You can feel presence of ghosts and spirits and stuff, but it's not like a ghost is handing you keys or this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're handing us beers, food, because anybody knows ghosts, they got to have a lot of energy to be able to even do anything, to push things off a table. So to this day,
do you think it was that time slip?
See, to this day, is it time travel? Is it we skip into a portal? Bob wrote time travel, or I know right now the most famous words in the world is multiverse and all that, and I mean anything technically is possible, but I feel like somehow we time travel, but the only weird thing was, if it was time travel, did they not recognize like we weren't technically like wearing their type of clothes? But Bob said we were wearing like grunge type shreds anyway, so it could easily be passed. And maybe I can't. It's hard to remember exactly what we were wearing, but or did we travel and they saw us in another outfit? I mean, there's so many questions that that you're never gonna know because even after that we went back almost every every weekend or so because I mean, first of all, like I said, Gettysburg's the only one place to go to, just the history there.
Yeah.
And nothing ever like that happened again. But it's just, again, the biggest problem, like I said, I have with that one versus Bigfoot is Bigfoot's present. That's present time,
All right.
and that, it's either real or not. It was there, or if some people want to say it's a bear, I know it's not. Whatever, if somebody wants to say we actually saw this, okay, you want to say that, I can understand, hear that, but there's like nothing anybody could say on what is an acceptable explanation on what we discovered there. People say, well, you probably all ghosts. Yeah, but that for all that to happen, for all that we touched, we drank their flat beer, we had their food. What kind of energy would you need to do that, to make that happen, if it was all ghosts and spirits? Now, one person did tell me, well, Eric, thousands of people did die there, so there could have been a power of, because most haunted houses, a family have died or this, you know what I mean? Animals, you know, Gettysburg, they did have over thousands and thousands of people died there. So could that be enough energy to say that's ghost versus time travel? Without physically kind of know, you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. But it's one of those experiences that to this day it just trips your mind, just how, because it was real. I mean, everything was real. I don't know. And once in a while we still check. I once in a while I'll do check during that time, like, see, maybe there's a Mandela effect or something, that a date does appear. There was a reenactment, but to this day there's nothing.
See, so I was very fortunate when I grew up in York, VA, and so I got to go up to Gettysburg a lot with my group I had there. We had a lot. It was stayed to dusk, but we actually caught a figure in the woods, looked like a soldier. We saw on film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Good place to go for activity. We got some EVPs too, of like accents, soldiers, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Hey, Bob wrote our cowboy hats. Oh, that's true. Our cowboy hats,
yeah.
because a lot of soldiers wear cowboy hats, and the only kind of hat that I wear is a cowboy hat. I don't wear baseball hats or nothing. I don't. I can't wear. I don't know why I cannot wear a baseball hat or baseball cap. I don't know why. I can wear a beanie, but it's either a cowboy hat or a beanie. So maybe there's a connection there and all that. But again, overall through life, we always know there's mysteries there that we can't explain. And Bob and I, you know, we've been on a lot of explorations. Bigfoot, UFOs, spirits and all that. But the thing is, with Bob and I, we're not the kind of guys that are going to bring 10 million equipments. We don't care. We
Oh dear.
don't care if we capture something. We do it because for ourselves. Have Bob and I filmed some paranormal hunts? Yeah, we filmed like Black Diamond. We had it on the channel and all that. But you know, but every time we show like our paranormal kind of a hunt, believe it or not, people get mad. they get mad. They get mad at my brother and stuff because my brother be out there on a paranormal hunt. He has his bag. He opens up his bag. He pulls out a cold beer, and drinks it. But the thing is, that's the way we like to do our investigations hunt. Like we're casual, If you're casual with the beer, because I always feel if you go on a paranormal hunt, anything, I always feel you got to be yourself, and I feel like everything around the surroundings will respond more if they know you're you.
All right.
You're not being fake. Do I know that for a fact? No. So every time we do investigation, there's always something that somebody's mad about that it looks like we're not taking it seriously or not. And it's like, well, first of all, if I put something out on YouTube, I'm not going to put out a 8-hour investigation. An hour or two might shorten it up. So, because after a while, watching somebody's long video of 8 hours is just really just walking in the dark. To me, is not exciting. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't like it how follows casual and all that, but we go out for fun. We do it for fun. We like it's more for us than have to show the world. If we could, of course we would. But we're not going to go out and carry infant red, all this stuff, all this machines, because any kind of machine you take out there, there's always somebody going to have an explanation on why the spike works one way or not. It's more of a feeling. We use our natural senses of like here's a natural sense. Let me see how much time we have. We got a few minutes.
Sure.
How much like senses so a lot of people who know me knows that I was basically born like 80% death. It wasn't until like I was in like 4th grade until they realized that I couldn't hear properly. I couldn't hear. And dude, this is Bob will tell. This is a true story. They even thought that there was something mentally wrong with me because I wasn't responding to the teachers and stuff. And it wasn't that I wasn't responding. I couldn't hear them. So they actually sent me to a special school. Where all the kids were taking the bus, I had to get in a small car and go to another school. Now, when kids see you get into another car and not the school bus, you'll be surprised what names they call you. Like they use the R word and all that. And then one day, a teacher down there at the other school said, "No, this kid is smart. He just can't hear." So I had to get an operation to be able to hear better. Why I bring that up? The reason I bring that up because like I could feel pressures because my ear's not accurate, so if I walk into the basement, I could feel a normal basement. And if you feel like there's something maybe spiritual that jump in there, like people will say the air change, I would be able to feel it. The natural body. I'm not saying I'm no medium, none of that kind of thing. Or people say you can be a medium. I don't know if somebody really has those kind of gifts, but my natural gift is like if something has changed. When people say the air something is off now, I would know. So a lot of paranormal groups up here and all that, they won't allow me. They won't invite me to be part of the group and go on a hunt because I don't know if they're afraid that if somebody says, "Do you feel that?" I don't know if they're afraid that I'll say, "No, I don't feel that." And I'm not going to lie, say I feel something when I don't. Because I want the truth. You know what I mean? I honestly want the truth. So going out on hunts like with Bob and stuff, we just let our natural selves, and we're not going to kid ourselves and make something real that it's not. We'll question everything. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to question everything. You're supposed to try to, some people don't like the word debunk, but we try to debunk everything. Kind of like the Gettysburg. We try to debunk what that was. And we can't find an answer. The Bigfoot, we can't find an answer to debunk that. People say bear. No, we debunked that. It's not a bear. You're supposed to try to debunk everything to the little. So when you can't debunk it no more, then you can say, something happened. Is there an explanation? I'm all open for it. You know what I mean? I'm the kind of person that wants to know why. You know, you know, if somebody says, Eric, maybe you and Bob are on shrooms or something, you know, that could be a good explanation. But the thing is, I don't do shrooms.
All right.
The only thing I do is drink a beer here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't do drugs, so I don't even smoke marijuana. I just drink beer. So saying that I was on a substance, nope, can't say that. I was on no substance. Now, was Bob high? Could be. He could be, but you get what I mean. Yeah, you get what I mean. Is I don't mind people saying what they think is. I don't mind people saying you guys are probably on drugs. Well, you can say that, but I wasn't on drugs. I don't do drugs.
Right.
So you cannot. And Bob's been in the Navy. I've been in the Coast Guard. So, you know, we've been trained through boot camps and stuff to study and investigate and everything. So, and you know, I'm not bragging or nothing. Bob, he has a bachelor degree from University of Washington in archaeologist. So Bob knows the study of art, and my college degree is more in business and IT communication and all that. So, you know, we're not too. I'm not saying you have to go to college and be smart. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is you can't say, "Oh, these are two high school dropouts." No. Oh, actually, Bob got a GD, but he went to college, university, became an archaeologist. So you know, and I always bring up that Bob was an archaeologist. It's part of learning to be an archaeologist. You have to learn to take notes. You have to learn to debunk. You have to learn to, before you try to do a scientific discovery or, you know, whatever kind of discovery, you got to make sure you do your thing. And any kind of investigations that we do, he'll do that. He'll do that behind the, you know, mostly behind the scenes. You know, we're not gonna do it on the scene because nobody wants to see us on video doing the paperwork and stuff. You know, but everything that we do is we just want the truth. You know, again, people who don't believe, hey, fine, you don't want to believe, we don't care, but we know there's something out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my plan is the only thing I wish, this is the only thing that I really truly wish, is that we knew what was happening during that Gettysburg. Because if you knew that you're not where you're not supposed to be, then your questions could be different. You know, you could be more on the investigation side instead of being on the, oh, this is fun, this is great, having some beers. You know what I mean? But you don't know sometimes you're in that environment. You know, like they say, I know one of the things that is important about recordings is that sometimes when you're in an environment, sometimes things are going on, you just don't realize that you're going on. And if you do have video footage, it is fun to go back and see if something was happening that you weren't aware of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because even when we're in the mountains, when you hear certain kind of noises, when you've been in the mountains your whole life, you know certain sounds. You know, like if you hear a certain sound, we don't know what it is. I'm not going to always come out and say that's probably a Bigfoot, because it could be a spirit. It could be a ghost. You don't know. That's why I'm open to, you know, everything, listening to everything, because you don't know. Because if we go on a Sasquatch investigation, we're also going on a paranormal investigation at the same time, because you don't know what you're going to see, what you're going to, you know, if you see like two red eyes, hey, I'm not going to automatically say that's a Bigfoot. It could be a demon, it could be a ghost, or it could be some kind of animal on a weird reflection that shows red eyes. So I'm just saying is you need to always be open-minded to any type of investigation, because you never know. You know, an example, I had a friend of Veil Paranormal who were they actually was on a paranormal investigation at a graveyard, but was more in the woods. And they saw something, and it wasn't a ghost. They saw what they think was a Bigfoot. That's what I mean. Is you got to be prepared when you go on any kind of investigation because you're never gonna know. Don't just think it's all ghosts because it might be a creature you don't know. Or you go on a creature hunt, you don't know. That could be a ghost that you saw or UFO. You don't know. Aliens you don't. If you believe of UFOs from another planet, then you have to believe that there could be aliens on this planet because something's got to drive those things here, unless they're remote electronic, like drones from another world.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is you got to keep an open mind on everything.
All right. Well, yeah. That is way wild. Like over the years, it took me a while to get used to it, but I'm more in tune now. When
Yeah.
Cause I'm an empath and I can feel that kind of stuff. So it took a while. It took a while to learn it, but
well, when you get older, you start to learn that you tell yourself, "Fuck everything else, fuck what everybody," and you start to be more in tune with what you like because you kind of get that when you get older, you learn that you don't care what people say anymore. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like you're in tune, you're gonna be more in tune because you don't care what people think anymore. When it happens when you get older, like there's gonna be non-believers no matter what you say.
all right,
Just you take it head on.
all right.
So, but I gotta say, man, Scott, thank you for inviting me and stuff.
Nice,
This is real fun. This is kind of
yeah,
you don't understand. I haven't done this in 2-3 months to be able to come up and for myself to talk again like this and all that. You're giving me medical therapy right now.
well, that kind of helped me because I'm disabled and I have to be able to walk and stuff, and I have a brain injury that happened a while back,
Uh,
and that kind of stuff helps me with like doing my hand stuff and that kind of stuff. So that kind of saved me. I had just passed 4 years now on podcast. So, yeah, I think you're episode 120, but yeah, that's why I'm messing.
and then one last thing, everybody in the chat, I the I do have a channel now that's called Paranormal Unite. There's nothing on there yet, but it's YouTube Paranormal Unite, and I will in a couple weeks. I'm going to start doing this again on that channel, and then eventually, when other things clear up, like what Bob's saying is eventually, we're gonna take my original channel that he's been using and changing it back to Gypsy Road. So all that will be coming back. It just everything is on a pause, just for a little bit longer. Again, your channel, you own it, so that nobody can say anything that I'm on your channel.
Right.
But I will be back, and Bob's going to try to come uh, up in December for Christmas and all that stuff. So when Bob comes up here, we're gonna be going on some paranormal hunts.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a lot for me. I should get to do 2 years, but
Again, I want to thank you for inviting me on. I
I
got to
bet.
jump off, but thank you so much. This was fun. And then
Yeah.
later on in the future, if you ever want to do another show, let me know because we could talk some UFO stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll have you on by maybe March sometime.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I can
I'm,
tell you
I'm,
about my Mary Island investigations and stuff like that, and everything, and so I got a lot of stuff we could talk
yeah,
about. So
I'm
beyond that,
actually, yeah,
I'll jump off. But thank you again for inviting me.
yeah, it is blessed. Thanks for coming on.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Okay.